Hi everyone and welcome to a new After Effects episode. I'm a French blog who talks about guitar gear, riffing and production, with a focus on the 90s art rock, shoegaze and metal. But today's episode could be useful for any home producer. We're diving into compression. What is it? How to use it, and how a compressor actually works. I'll keep things as clear and straightforward as possible, without going too deep into the technical side. For those who want to explore further, I've included links to the video that I consider both thorough and highly informative. When you compress a track, you're simply reducing the dynamics. That is the gap between the loudest and the quietest sound. Compression is a versatile tool with several purposes. You can use a compressor to glue a mix together, add punch, enhance groove, and more. Of course, it's common to use multiple compressors with different settings, either in series or in parallel. For today's example, we're going to work on an acoustic guitar track. As you can hear, and it's quite obvious with the acoustic recordings or vocals, the dynamics are quite wide, which can give you a feeling of inconsistency and sometimes an amateur sound. Here is our compressor. It might look intimidating at first. A typical compressor has a few parameters. Threshold. That is the level at which the compressor starts working. Sounds above this level and get reduced in volume. For example, setting it low, we compress almost everything, while a higher setting affects only the loudest peaks. Ratio. How much the signal is reduced once it passes the threshold. For vocals, 2:1 to 4:1 is common. For drums or guitar, you might push it higher for punch. Attack. How quickly the compressor reacts after the signal exceeds the threshold. Release. How quickly the compressor stops acting after the signal falls below the threshold. Short release can make the sound more dynamic. Long release make it smoother. Makeup gain. Compensate for the volume loss during compression. After compressing, you can bring the overall level back up to match the rest of your mix. Knee. Determines how gradually the compression is applied. A soft knee smooths the effect, while a hard knee applies it more abruptly. With these controls, you can shape your sound in many ways. Once you understand how each parameter affects the signal, using a compressor becomes less intimidating. One really powerful feature of compression is sidechaining. This lets you use one track to trigger the compressor on another. I've got a fat sub bass here, a dreamy synth pad here, and a drum machine here. I'll set the compressor on the bass track to duck whenever the kick hits. I'll apply the same principle on the pad when the snare hits. It's a really fun tool to experiment with. You can use it subtly to mimic a natural interaction between instruments or push it to the extreme and create more experimental effects. Et voilà! I hope this first look into the world of compression has been useful. If you enjoyed it, share, like, and subscribe. I leave you with an A-B comparison. Our track with no compression versus the same track with heavy compression. Tell me which one you like best. See you later.